Okay, YouTubers, this is Joe from ArtAlienTV. We're having another game of Interplanetary I Spy here. I've got some really cool stuff for you here today, as you're just about to find out. This is going back a bit to Sol 194, taken quite a while back, this one. Not a bad quality image to start with, not as grungy as some of the more recent images that we're getting from the Rover. This is the raw image. Now, pay attention particularly to the background on this image, or it's about 2/3 of the way up the image. You'll see what looks like some water in a gully there. It's like a depression in the middle of the crater. Now, all I've done here is slightly enhance the contrast. And again, up the contrast a bit more. Now you can see it. Now if you looked just to the above center left, there's that kind of large sort of object that's a bit like a head of something. Now the water is just above that. So we're looking at the above center of the image. Right, now here we go. Here's the close-up. Untreated image again. Now that blue is already there. It's not been added to this. This is a completely raw image. This is how it came. This is how it was sent. What can I say? It's water. This goes some way to back up some of the stuff I've been saying in my videos and underneath my videos for the last year and a half or so. I've been saying that there must be water in the bottom of Gale Crater somewhere, and this is it. This may not be the only water in the bottom of the Gale Crater, of course. This may be just a little bit of it we're seeing here, a little snapshot. I really do think the rover is deliberately avoiding it at the moment, because there do seem to be lots of dried up lake and river beds in this part of Gale Crater and other parts. These may fill up with water at certain times of year as the ice melts in the northern regions of Mars. The water may trickle down through and end up here, who knows. This is very low down. We're miles down here. This is an extremely low altitude. The air density would be thicker here, and so would there would be more likely to be liquid water also. It probably has its own microclimate, this particular crater, much like some parts of Earth do, deep craters on Earth, or even high areas like in the Virunga Mountains. They have their own microclimate. They have different rainfall, different temperatures, different air density, different everything. I really do think Gale Crater is one of these places, especially the lower parts of it. Of course, whether this water is drinkable now, who knows? I think it may well be. NASA are now saying that there was a prevalence of drinkable water on Mars, and this may be all that's left of it. We don't know. I actually think there's an awful lot more water on Mars than we're being told. It'd be easy to land a rover in the middle of the desert somewhere, like they kind of have here, and just avoid it. You know, if you know where the water is, all you got to do is not go there. You know, this is one of the only images I think you'll find in any of the Curiosity sets, and there are millions of images that clearly shows water. There are some that look a bit more vague. Now we're just going to have a quick look at this guy. I don't think this is anything particularly important, but because it's there, I thought I'd put it in the video anyway. I'm actually more interested in what's on top of this. If you look carefully on top of this animal head shaped rock here, there seems to be some organic material, moss of some sort perhaps. In fact, you'll find this with many of the rocks. If you enhance the contrast like I have there, that's all I've done. I've upped the contrast a little bit, I've given it a little bit of blur just to take the pixelation out. You will find that there's moss on a lot of these rocks, especially in the lower areas. Now this is quite a large possible skull here. This is right at the bottom of the image, right in the center. Easy to find, anyone can find it. Download the image yourself, have a look. Now I was drawn to what looks like a tooth on the left of the possible skull here. Now it's in shadow. The sun's coming from the other direction, so you've really got to. I've drawn around the object there. You've really got to brighten it up quite a lot to actually see anything, and play around with the contrast as always with these images. You've really got to push the contrast around and just see what you can get out of them. This is a difficult one. In shadow, of course, it always is. It's much harder to work with parts that are in shadow. You've really got to up the brightness quite a lot. So what I've done here is I've used the darken tool. I've selected that area there. I used the darken tool just to show you where the eye is. Now you can actually see the eye. If you download the image and zoom in nice and close, you can actually see there is an eye there. But of course, being in shadow, it's obscured. So I'm just putting in the detail that you can see if you get in close enough to this image. The teeth there on the left. I'm not sure what this is. Like many of the skulls on Mars, it looks to be a bit like one thing, and then when you sort of enhance it, it looks like something else. I really don't know. It looks like a very large rodent of some sort. I mean, those pointy teeth at the front may well not be that pointed. They may be more sort of rodent-like. Who's to say? Is this a fossil? Possibly. Is it freeze-dried? Possibly. Hard to tell with this one. But I thought I'd throw this one in anyway. This is not the main concern of this video. These slightly ambiguous looking skull things here. There's something else I found whilst I was looking at the water, or the oasis as I'm going to call it, that has appeared in other people's videos. I'm not claiming to have found that. It has been published before. There is something else kind of next to it that really caught my eye when I was looking at the water. I sort of looked over to the left of the oasis and found something very interesting, which is coming up right now. All I can say, this is a completely raw image. All I can say is this looks very much like of quite a large aircraft fuselage that's broken and damaged, and well, it looks like a crashed aircraft. This is the front end of it. There we go. I've drawn round it, and I think I've grayscaled that and just brought the temperature up a little bit to give it a sort of sepia tone there. What can I say? It has a cockpit. This object could have been there a million years, could have been there 10 years, it could have been there 100 years, who knows? But it's sitting on the side of this kind of ledge here, and is probably largely buried. There are other parts nearby that you can see, which we will come to in a minute. But what first drew my eye to it is that cockpit on the right there, and the sort of pointy nose shape, not dissimilar in shape to the Concorde, with the sort of nose that points down. Reason for that sort of angle on the nose of an aircraft, a jet aircraft or something similar, would be to give the pilots good vision whilst landing. A lot of aircraft in World War II were designed with very long noses which didn't go down at an angle. They used to jut up straight out in front of them. This really restricted visibility for the pilot and gave them real problems landing. A lot of them had to land kind of blind almost, which was extremely difficult on an aircraft carrier. So there we go. Now I've drawn around it. I've drawn around it again a bit more carefully this time, and I've upped the contrast. Really pushed the brightness right up there, just to show. Look at the crumpled area behind the nose on the right there. There's some really good detail there. You can actually see the damaged material. It looks like metal or something. I mean, who knows? But you would expect it to be some kind of alloy, aluminium or something like that. I mean, there we go again. Now that really is starting to look like the front end of the Concorde. It's extraordinary. I was absolutely gobsmacked when I spotted this initially, and my jaw just hit the floor. I have found other aircraft. I have published a few recently. There's one on the side of Olympus Mons. There's a small mini aircraft that looks like a drone that I found only a week or so ago, a couple of weeks ago. Check him out, he's really cool. Looks like a pilotless aircraft. This one looks large. I mean, I don't know exactly how big this thing is, but when you see the rest of it, I'll give you a sort of estimation of how large I think this is. Different filter there. I'm just trying to pull out different bits of detail here. Now, if you look along the centre of the image there, look how straight that line is. Now, rocks don't generally end up that straight. Now, luckily, I went back to the image set here, back to Sol 194, to look around to see if there were any adjacent photographs, and there were, of course, because they're taken in sets. Quite pleased about that. This one is actually even better. Here we have the area we're looking at here. Now, the oasis I showed you earlier is to the right of this, on the image taken afterwards or before. I'm not sure which way around. But anyway, that's what we're concentrating on, is this particular area. So if you want to download the image, feel free. It will be in the description. Download it, take a look, zoom in, get in nice and close. Now, this is untreated, and you can actually see the aircraft, if it is an aircraft, which I think it probably is. You can see it without any enhancements at all. You don't even have to change the brightness or anything. This is completely raw. There we go. Now I've drawn around it again, and really bumped up the contrast there. I've changed the color temperature on this, because the problem is with a lot of these things in the background is that there's so much greenery, moss growing everywhere on some of these things, and perhaps grass even on some of these rocks and backgrounds. There we go. This looks very much like part of it, and there may well be lots and lots more of this aircraft or ship or whatever it is buried. This particular part here on the left, if you follow it along to the right, there's a sort of straight line that follows it right into this area here. There's probably been a landslide here or something, mudslide or a landslide. So it does seem that there's huge, straight, long structures that are buried underneath part of the gully here. Raw image again. Look at it. You can see the different sections. The nose section on the right, it's broken off. There's another section in the centre, and as we saw a minute ago, the section on the left. There seems to be lots and lots of other stuff buried in the sand below. Wings, perhaps. Who's to say? More fuselage. Who knows? Look at the green patches on it. Now, I actually had to play around with the colour temperature on this to get rid of the green. There was so much green popping out of this, it got stupid. This seems to happen with almost everything in the background with these colour images from the Curiosity. I'm sure it's moss growing on this stuff. If there's water there, then there must be plants, surely. Plants don't need oxygen. We're told there isn't hardly any oxygen up there, so who cares? Plants don't need it. And of course, if there are plants, then there are things that probably eat the plants, and if there are things that eat the plants, there are things that eat them, and so on. We have a food chain. Once you have water, you probably have a food chain. It's pretty simple to grasp. How difficult can it be? You know. I want you to pay particular detail to the broken section here. You can actually see. I actually thought initially that this was a roof of some building or something that had slid down in a sort of mudslide, but it looks more like an aircraft now on further inspection. If you look at the central part of it, you can actually see parts of the structure where it's been torn apart. The fuselage has been kind of ripped. So this may well have crashed or been even parked much further up on above the edge of the crater. This could have been washed into the crater, like many of the other things look like they have been. It may not have actually crashed here at all. It could have slid down in a mudslide a long way down from the top of the edge of the crater. So this may well have been parked in some sort of airport or aerodrome, and there could have been a tsunami, which I think there was up there, and everything got washed in, kind of swept into this huge depression. Being the lowest point, of course, it would have all ended up there, and this is the remnants of it. There are probably loads more aircraft. There seem to be cars. Now look at the detail on this. You can actually see the crumpled area at the front there. It's astonishing, astonishing. What else can that be but a cockpit, really? I mean, look at it. I thought it might be a bullet train. I thought it could be maybe an upturned battleship or ship of some sort. I don't think it is. I think this is probably an aeroplane. I do have many books on aircraft. I've studied them for many, many years, like I have many other things. Bit obsessed about World War II kind of stuff, really, like a lot of people are. Right, there's the central bit where it's ripped apart. I've darkened that for you just to show you the join, or where the join would be. And that's it. I mean, you'd expect an aircraft to break up. I mean, a bit like the one that hit the Pentagon, you know, the one that didn't hit the Pentagon, I should say. When aircrafts crash, they break up into pieces, and those pieces get strewn about all over the place. If this did crash, of course. The wings are designed to break off because that's a lot safer for the passengers. But usually an aircraft will break up into 2 or 3 sections, generally 3, front, middle and back. The tail section usually breaks off separately. Anyone who saw Lost will vouch for that. Right, now we're having a quick look here at the Hubble image of Mars. Now, is this water? Are these oceans? Because it looks terribly blue to me. I mean, look at you have the polar ice caps there, of course. You have large continents that look not dissimilar to Africa or Australia or whatever. Now, we're told and shown a lot of photographs of Mars that are completely just a kind of orangey red, reddy brown colour, sort of rusty colour. Yeah, we also, a lot of the images of the Mars surface, the close-ups we get from the rover, are filtered to look the same. I'm just going to demonstrate to you how I think they may be doing this. If you get a full colour image and then turn it to grayscale, like I have just here, all you have to do once you've grayscaled it is then increase the colour depth and then turn up the colour temperature. Does that look more familiar? I think it does. This is what I'm sure they're doing to many of the Mars images, especially the whole planet. When you look at Google Mars, for instance, it's this kind of orangey, rusty colour. Most of the images and photographs we see of Mars are like this. But that's how easy it is to fool everybody. All you have to do is black and white it, grayscale it, and then turn up the colour temperature, and this gives it that kind of that reddish colour. It's as simple as that, people. I really do think that's what they're doing with a lot of these images. It's really easy to do. I think a lot of the rover images, in fact, they are in colour, but they've had some of the colour removed. They often put in colours that aren't there to confuse you. The peak filter is used on pretty much everything, I think, but it does seem to be inconsistent in its colour sometimes. This must mean that different people are using it and maybe using slightly different levels when they're applying these filters to the images. I don't think they're actually deliberately hiding everything. They can't possibly hide everything because they've got to find it first. In order to hide something, you must first know where it is. So you can't just hide everything. It's impossible. Stuff will get through. So don't be too disheartened by this. When it comes to animals and civilization on Mars, no one's been able to prove any of us researchers wrong on this yet, and I doubt they ever will, because we just keep on finding evidence, and this is getting pretty weighty now. This evidence, this aircraft here goes a long way towards helping our quest here. Lots of other people are finding similar things, not just me. I've got a whole bunch of aircraft now we found up there, spaceship even, a couple of spaceships. One of them's 4 kilometers wide or something. You've got to start asking some questions, and when the usual answers or the usual theories no longer fit, the unusual theories must be considered. Remember that. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope that wasn't too long for you. Thanks to all my subscribers. I shall see you soon.